Hey there guys, and welcome back to Alex Invest. As we can see, the markets are closed today because it is Sunday, and we're going to stick to a similar video that we did last week. That is, we'll talk about what we expect in the markets next week, some of the trades I have made last week, and we'll take a look at my main portfolio as well and the holdings I have in there. We'll take a look at as well what's on my watch list for some of the things that I would like to buy. And as we go through that, the tip will be included in that sort of section there. All right, so let's get right into it. On Monday, we have a US holiday on the markets. So just the Canadian market will be open, and of course the other ones around the world, but we're focused on the US and Canada markets here, right? But the Canadian market on Monday should give us somewhat of an idea of what is to come on Tuesday as well. So we still have to watch out on the markets tomorrow. We also have FCEL energy earnings coming out next week. That's next Wednesday, so 3 days from now. Apologies, in the last video I said it was next Wednesday, but then put a little text that said it was actually next Thursday. But Thursday is the conference that they're having about the earnings call, and Wednesday is the day that the earnings call is actually coming out. So do watch out for that. Tesla as well, not next week, but the week after, reports earnings too, and their stock price is extremely high right now. I'm not saying FCEL's isn't, because theirs is as well, but Tesla right now is trading over 1,000 times earnings right now for their price. So their PE ratio is over 1,000 here, right? And they're still going up. You know, we did see a little bit of a pullback, but in general, you know, the stock price has just gone up and up and up. So the earnings report here actually is going to be very interesting. And I think we might actually see a decrease in price for that, just because of the huge run, the huge PE ratio. You know, they better have an insane earnings call, or else we're definitely going to see a pullback here, in my opinion. And then of course we have Biden inauguration as well on January 20th. That'll be interesting, and it should be good on the markets too. So that combined with fuel cell earnings, we'll see what happens with fuel cell energy. But you know, I am positive about this, and we'll just have to see what happens there. But let's get into the Biden inauguration a little bit more here, specifically for the energy sector and sort of what Biden's plan is there, right? And I've talked about this in a few videos, but there's a few other things that I wanted to mention about it. And the first one's that his climate plan will actually require $2 trillion of government spending in his first term in order to achieve sort of the things that Biden wants to achieve here for his climate plan. So that's going to be huge for, you know, the clean energy space as well here. And we're a big part of that with this channel. You know, we have a lot of these stocks. And so I think with that, when we do see Biden inauguration here on the 20th, we are going to see a jump again in the prices of sort of this clean energy sector as a whole, including the hydrogen sector, including the solar sector, right? He also wants to spend $1.3 trillion alone just on infrastructure for clean energy technology here. And this is really where hydrogen as well as solar comes in big, because, you know, these two industries are the ones that really need the infrastructure, especially the hydrogen industry. They really have to start expanding that infrastructure to really start to get moving. And I'm glad that Biden is addressing this as well for the future. Biden has also said he wants to rejoin the Paris Agreement as well as have carbon pollution-free power sector by 2035. And this is really interesting too, because this is the power sector, right? So again, we're looking at that infrastructure, that behind the scenes kind of production of this power and production of this energy. And again, that's where hydrogen comes in big here. So I think there is going to be very big investment in this hydrogen industry still, and we are still sort of at the beginning stages of it all here. You know, if you're not invested in hydrogen and you're not invested in solar, then I would recommend you do so. But of course, next week with what we saw Thursday, Friday, there could be a pullback again. But then again, on Wednesday, I think we will see these stocks go back up by the latest. So Monday, Tuesday could be a good time to buy if we don't see a huge run up again from those drops from Thursday and Friday. So we'll see what we see there next week. So with Biden's inauguration, I also wanted to mention Jennifer Granholm, and she's the Secretary of Energy for Biden. You know, I really like her as well for Secretary of Energy because she does so much for clean energy, and she's been a proponent of clean energy for a lot of her life and in her career, right? So I do see her moving forward with a lot of these plans for climate change and for clean energy, right? And she's in a lot of these clean energy projects, right? And so I think we're going to see some good things out of her, and that's why I wanted to mention this, because that just speaks a lot to Biden's administration, that he actually wants to follow through with his plans here for clean energy. So I am excited about this. All right, so the tip that I have for you guys today is you have to have a stock app to sort of have your information on some of the watch lists you want, the stocks you're thinking about buying, the stocks you own, etc. Right? And I actually use two. So the first one is the Apple Stocks app here, and this one's connected to Yahoo Finance. And what I do with this one is I basically just keep all the stocks that I have maybe not heard about, but sort of the ones that I would at some point think about investing, the ones which I think are interesting. I'm not necessarily going to invest in these, but they're just good to have sort of on a watch list. And you can click on one, let's say Tattooed Chef, and it'll show you the chart and some of the news and stuff like that, right? So really simple here. And this one I literally just use for any stock that I'm like, oh, I want to keep an eye on it. Maybe let's just put it on my Apple Stocks app here, right? So I've got a lot, the list goes on and on here, but then this one I just have for all the stocks, right? It's not my stocks which I have in my portfolio and stuff like that. So that I use another app, and that is actually the Yahoo Finance app here now. So this is where I have basically my whole actual portfolio, or my main portfolio at least, for the stocks that I have in it here, and that's these stocks right here. What I like about this app is, first of all, it tells you when earnings are coming out. So it tells you that FCEL earnings, for example, are coming out next week, right? But then it also gives you notifications here for, some of the interesting things that you might want to know about your stocks. So like it says your top movers this week, right? Aleph, OEG, and Plug. Those are my top movers. A bunch of other just notifications and things like that. So really, really useful here. So I do recommend both of them because, you can have one for just random stocks that you're, think about, and then one where you actually have your main portfolio in, or all the stocks that you own as well. It could be for that too, right? So I think both are good to have. You can just use one, but again, I think it gets messy. And then this is the last thing I wanted to show you guys. If you're trading and investing a lot, then it'd be worth it for you guys to download like a desktop app like this. So there's multiple out there. This is the Webull one. I like to use this one because it's really user-friendly. It's easy to kind of maneuver around and do your own stuff with, and they have a lot of information on here as well, right? And you can sort of edit what you want to do. So for me, right, I have different layouts. These are just called blank right now because I haven't loaded the ones that I have for this, right? But so we'll go to my stock layout first here. So basically this is the one that I mainly use here. This is my whole portfolio right now. My main portfolio has these stocks in it exactly here, right? And so basically you can click on one, right, and it'll show you the chart, and then I have my volume analysis down here, just some key statistics right here, right, and just sort of recent news, right? And what's nice is, I've set this up for the way I want it, and you can do that really easily by just clicking this add widgets up here, right? And then you can choose if you want to add a second chart on here, the key stats, right? All this, trade, and this is only for if you're in the US, you can use this for actually placing trade. But unfortunately, I'm in Canada, so I can't do that. But, there's TD Ameritrade as well, which offers something like this. But essentially, you can just, like add widgets. And then, if you wanted to add a second news filter, for example, you can do that and change the size of it, right? Move it into the corner, let's say, or whatever you want to do, right? And then you have to group it. So you press this little button here and then group one, right? You can see all my other ones are group one here. So then now whatever I click on will come up, right? Otherwise it wouldn't. So that's kind of how to use this, and you can just edit it the way you want to. But I think it's nice because it gives you sort of a nice overview of everything you need here, right? And you saw my other layout before here, that's this one. And this is sort of my deeper analysis layout here, right? We have like some interesting things here. I mean, this is OPTT. Let's go to another one. Let's say OEG, right? And it shows you sort of the analyst ratings as well here. And there's other options you can add in this or remove in this. These are just some of the ones that I have, right? You see sort of their main financials from their last financial report, balance sheet, cash flow, everything you need really here, right? How many institutions hold the stock and everything like that. So it can be really nice to have something like this, just sort of to make it easier for you to kind of navigate around what stocks you're looking at. And then, this is my watch list, and then I have my potential watch list here. These are some of the stocks that I'm looking at picking up, right? BNGO is really on my radar right now. Hypersolar, or sun hydrogen is what it's also called. This is one that I've been looking at for a little bit, and you know, it's a small cap stock, so obviously very, very small cap, right? So they don't have any much information on this, so you have to go do your own research for that. But for some of the bigger ones like Fubo, right, we can see we have all the information we need here, really. So that, and then I have my market analysis as well here, and this is just the general market trends I'm seeing, you know, indexes, ETFs, which are doing hot right now, you know, sort of how we're doing across the world as well, and everything like that. So, you know, some industries, and this is all just information you can add yourself on here, right? This is just the setup that I use. So it is really, really helpful, I think, to have something like this, and it makes it a lot easier for you to do your research as well, or do some starting research at least. You know, you still have to go and do your own research online as well, you know, look at their website and everything like that, but this is a good kind of start here, I think. So it is good to have, and even if you don't go into anything as depth as this, right, you can really just start off with something simple like this. As for trades I made last week, you know what, we're actually just going to go right back to this right here, and you guys can see the trades I made last week. The first one is I bought Standard Lithium. Again, I used to own this stock, and I sold it actually a while back. Right around here I sold, and then I bought back in pretty high up here, right? And like I always say, buy the dips, and I didn't buy the dip, and what happened? We come down, we dipped, should have waited a day. I didn't. I thought the hydrogen industry stocks and sort of this clean energy sector would keep moving up, and it didn't. I did expect a pullback eventually, I just didn't expect it as soon as Thursday. So there's that there. The other trade obviously is Next Innovations. Now this is the stock that I got asked to do a promotion on, and I have said yes, so that will be a video next week. But again, I do see it set for growth. I also bought this one right around here-ish. So yeah, those are pretty much all the trades that I made last week. And moving into next week, I might pick up more Standard Lithium actually, because we have come down here. I also want to pick up more very good food company stocks soon. So those are kind of the two that I'm looking at for next week here. So that's what I kind of have planned as well. And something to note about that is on my Instagram account, I do usually post an update on when I buy a stock, when I sell a stock, and all of this. I post it on my story, right? So do follow me on Instagram. There'll be a link in the description, and also on my YouTube homepage, there's a link there so that you can follow my Instagram on. So that's gonna do it for the video today, guys. I hope you liked it. If you did, please like, subscribe, and leave me a comment as always. And other than that, I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.